What is Cafe Mocha? Experts, celebrities.
Hey, this is John Legend.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
I am Ian Levanson.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamar Braxton.
Music and features from a woman's perspective. Intriguing conversation. The Swag Award. Espresso. The MC Light Mix. Radio from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
You're listening to Cafe Mocha. Kenny Lattimore guest hosting. And on the way, our NFL dads getting a bad rap. Well, Dre Kirkpatrick of the Cincinnati Bengals joins us to discuss it.
It's Cafe Mocha.
Hey boy, we got my baby.
I'm Angelique.
I'm Lonnie Love.
And I'm Kenny Lattimore.
There it is. I'm kicking it off immediately. I love your new single.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We're top 10 now as well. I'm really excited, and we've been number one at satellite radio, and people have been embracing it, and really like word of mouth is circulating the single, so I'm very excited about that.
Well, you know, he performed it on The Real for us, and he was so gracious, and it was so good. And remember what you told me? You said I had to make some choices.
Yeah, I did. That's the behind the scenes.
What kind of choices?
I've actually been going through some sinus issues and allergies, and I had just come off of a real horrible time period with allergies, and I was like, oh Lord, if I could just sing the melody, if I can just, what a good feeling, just the beginning, to know that I got someone it's almost like every singer, you want to be perfect and you want everything to be like the record, to a degree, or better at least.
But it was better though, Kenny. It was like, because I didn't even know. It was like, it was just beautiful and everything. It's just the song is called "Love Me Back." Are we gonna play it, Angelique?
Of course we're gonna play it. I've been playing it since the second it dropped. I was like, yes. Got a nice tempo. It's not all sleepy, and it's got good energy. So I absolutely love it. But one of the reasons that we invited you here is because you are a dad.
I am a dad, and I'm such a dad. Yeah, he's actually here.
Yeah, he's sitting right there looking up. Oh, y'all talk about me? Yes.
He's a cutie too.
Thank you.
How old is he?
12 years old.
That's a big 12. They make 12s like that?
They make 12s big.
12. How tall are you?
5'8".
He's 5'8".
Wow. 5'8". Yeah,
wow.
5'8".
He's got your eyes.
Yeah, Dad's eyes. So that means you got honest eyes.
Now, how important is Father's Day for fathers? Because, I ain't had no daddy, so I don't really be knowing about Father's Day, So tell me, as a black man, what do you think the importance of Father's Day is?
Well, for me, it was always about celebrating my dad and just letting him know that he was a great man, and I thanked him for being there. And I was one of those with the two dads. I had the stepdad as well.
Okay.
And had a great man that married my mom, Charles Ryan, and he paid for everything, took care of my voice lessons, and take care of, all the school stuff, all that. And what I learned about men is so interesting is we have this thing about acts of service when we are present in our families and in our children's lives, where we don't always say the things that we could say, or maybe we should say even.
Right.
But Father's Day a lot of times gave us the opportunity to come on out and make it right. Dad, I really love you.
That's sweet.
And get that
Cafe
back.
Mocha. We're in studio with Mr. Kenny Lattimore. His new album is Anatomy of a Love Song. The single is Love Me Back. We're talking about Father's Day.
Let's just play it. Can we play a song right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Love it.
Cafe Mocha, it's a Father's Day special. I'm Angelique.
I'm Lonnie Love.
And I'm Kenny Lattimore.
Ooh, our special guest host.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, let's go back to daddies.
Okay.
You had a couple daddies in your life.
Yes.
One of the big worries of parenting right now is being the parent of young black men. You have your young man there. What are you teaching him with regard to how to go out into the world?
Wow. Responsibility and to think. I could probably, if he was standing, if I was like, KJ, come up here right now, what would I always tell you? You have to learn how to do what? He would say, think. and be responsible. Daddy's teaching you to be a thinker, because a lot of times we make bad decisions, and the world is not gracious to us about those decisions, and we are held responsible. So if we begin to analyze things a little earlier in our path, and if we're affirmed, I think it's something about affirming a child from a father, letting them know that you are great. And I try to tell him that's my son who I love, that you're great, that you have the potential to do anything and be anything that you absolutely want to be, and you always have my support and love. It's those kind of things that make a son feel like he can. In a similar way, a wife does that to her husband, and we feel like we can do it. I can, we receive love through respect a lot of times, and in a way that's me respecting my son and pouring positivity into his life.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're here with our special guest host, Mr. Kenny Lattimore. His new album is called Anatomy of a Love Song. And you know what, Kenny? Okay, let's lift it up a little bit. It's Father's Day. What kind of gift you like?
Okay, I get to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm one of them laid back dads. You can send me to the spa, actually, because after being on the road and on an airplane almost every day in a different city, I need a foot massage.
Okay, you can get a massage.
But is anything ever bad from your kids? I mean, when your kids go and they buy you the cheesy robe or cheesy tie or whatever, is it ever bad, or is it all love?
Well, I guess it depends on how they give it to you.
Okay.
You're dead. Because it's like, but if you really sincerely feel like this was really from my child's heart, there is nothing ever bad. It's incredible.
So spa treatment. You got that? Spa.
Can you afford that? Look. So I'm like, man. He said, I'll try. I'm gonna teach him. I'm gonna train him up in that way. These are how you give your dad good gifts.
Right. It's Cafe Mocha on the way. We're gonna talk to NFL dad Dre Kirkpatrick of the Cincinnati Bengals. It's coming up right here on Cafe Mocha. Cafe Mocha Father's Day special. I'm Angelique.
I'm Lonnie Love.
And I'm Kenny Lattimore.
Yeah, on the line, he is a cornerback for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's here to talk about being a dad. Dre Kirkpatrick, thank you for joining us. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
You sound good. You know that?
Lonnie looked your picture up online and she tripping. She's like,
I love the Bengals. So, Dre, tell us, we've been talking about Father's Day. Tell us, what does Father's Day mean to you?
At first, I used to be scared of it, but, now it just shows, the hard work that I put in to be able to take care of my son at such a young age. And just having strong parents around me to show me how to be a father. And it means that, I have a responsibility to uphold, and, I'm just trying to fulfill it every day.
Let's start with, how old are you? How old were you when you had your child/children? And tell us about your kids a little.
His name DeAndre. He got my name, DeAndre Kirkpatrick. And I had him when I was 16 years old. And,
wow.
That was pretty much the day that I grew up.
Okay.
I wanted to know this, what you thought about this, Dre. NFL and sports stars in general have a what would you call it?
Yeah.
They get a bad rap a lot of times about being dads. So-and-so's got multiple kids. Or there's so many different things. Do you think that these are isolated incidences, or what do you think about that?
I just feel like it's everybody's opinion. And secondly, it's how much do you care about that person make their remark amongst that opinion.
Right.
I'm one of those persons, I really don't care about a lot of things like that. What somebody say, worried about what the other person think about me. I really don't care. So you got to be just strong-minded.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're on the line with Dre Kirkpatrick's quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. We're talking about Father's Day. He also has a foundation, 21 Kids Foundations. Can you tell us about it?
Oh, yeah. 21 Kids Foundation pretty much started by just me having a dream, me having a passion to do something. And, when I was a kid, I really didn't have a lot of opportunities to meet NFL guys and people that were successful in the sports world. So by me having a platform and me being a role model in my community, you know, I feel like it was only right for me to give that, be something and be an example for those kids that's in my community, because now I'm starting to see that they look up to me, and, you know, I have to pretty much make a decision for everybody when I make a decision. It's not just me that I'm reflecting on.
At Dre Kirk Swag is how you reach him, and of course his website is drekirk.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Of this hour, Broderick Johnson from the White House talks about My Brother's Keeper. In fact, set your DVR Sunday, 7 p.m. on OWN or the Discovery Channel for a powerful documentary about how My Brother's Keeper is changing lives. It's coming up on Cafe Mocha.
And you don't stop, keep
It's Cafe Mocha, Father's Day weekend, and on the line is Broderick Johnson. He is chair for President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative. Broderick, first of all, for everybody who doesn't know what this initiative is, can you break it down in simple, easy terms?
Essentially what the president said, back in February of 2014, when he started the My Brother's Keeper initiative, was that we needed as a nation to, in very, very powerful terms, involving both the public sector and the private sector, say to young people across this country, especially boys and young men of color, that you matter, that we will invest in you, and that we have an obligation to make sure that you can succeed in this society. So over the past 16 months, through public and private efforts, we've been able to build My Brother's Keeper in a way that has reached communities all across this country and is already showing some significant changes in the way people go about working with these children.
You know, I think with so many urban youth not having dads at home, that programs like these are important. Let's talk about the documentary that's coming out actually this weekend for Father's Day, Rise, The Promise of My Brother's Keeper. What is the documentary about?
Well, as I'd mentioned, when the president started My Brother's Keeper, he said to the private sector, we need your help too. So a number of private sources stepped up, including Discovery Communications, to pledge to work with the White House on what could be done to, amplify the word about what My Brother's Keeper was all about, and also to spread this across the country. So what Discovery did was they made a commitment back about a year ago, actually, to produce a documentary aimed at these issues, and Angelique aimed especially at the idea of changing the narrative about boys and young men of color especially. There are so many tragic stories, and yet oftentimes the tragic stories are the ones that get told and retold, and very little is said about, all of the good things that are happening out here, all the good kids that are out here that are doing their best and that have programs in place to help them. So this documentary looks at a number of places across the country and a number of young people across the country, males of African American and Hispanic and Native American descent, who are success stories. And the success isn't done, the story's not over, but this points us in the direction of saying, you know what, there is a lot of hope out there.
Talking to Broderick Johnson from the White House. He runs President Obama's My Brother's Keeper program. Set your DVR Sunday, 7 p.m. on the Discovery Channel for the documentary. And if you want to find the program, go to whitehouse.gov.
What's being talked about on the street, online, and sister to sister is Did Y'all See? On Cafe Mocha.
So, did y'all see Peter Thomas from Real Housewives of Atlanta? There's a video that surfaced, and in it, he's like grabbing this woman's neck and he like slowly caresses her chest. So then Peter came through with an apology video, like, I'm not a cheater, but I do want to apologize because it looks suspect.
I won't say Peter's a flat out cheater, but he was definitely being inappropriate. And if you were to go that far, only God knows what else you've been doing.
I don't know, I really think Peter and Cynthia need to get off of the show because I think it doesn't do well for their marriage, because every season, it's something.
Well, that's our perspective. For more Did Y'all See, be sure to log on to MadameNoir.com.
That was Did Y'all See with the ladies of Madame Noir on Cafe Mocha. For more, check out CafeMochaRadio.com. Cafe Mocha celebrating Father's Day by honoring our men. With me is Broderick Johnson. He's the chair for President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative. Is there a story that stands out for you that, that made you go, yeah, we're doing the right thing. This is great.
The president was in the Bronx back in early May, and he was there for the launch of a new startup nonprofit called the My Brother's Keeper Alliance. Mm-hmm. And this was an effort begun by private citizens, corporate heads and foundation heads and others who are committed to making sure that the private sector does its part even more.
Right.
But the president, when he was in New York that day, did what he often does now, which is he got together before the kind of formal event with a group of young men of color, mm-hmm. teenagers and guys in their early 20s. And he sits and he asks them what they think about My Brother's Keeper and what's important about My Brother's Keeper for them. Because we need to hear from them.
Sure.
Right? We can't just dictate, this is what you need. Right? That's not the approach. So the president will very patiently listen to what it is that they have to say and dispense advice. But there was a young man there that session back in May who talked about how he had not heard from or seen his own father in years. His father had moved to another state, and the president, as he does, talked about his own lack of a relationship with his own father, mm-hmm. and so he can identify with a young man like this one. And he said to him, you need to still reach out to your father because you need to understand why your father perhaps left the family. Because it's important to know that so you can break the cycle as you become a dad later in life. But it's also important because maybe there's some things about your dad you need to know so you can love him. Mm. The young man then was interviewed a couple weeks later and talked about how he went back and located his dad, and they talked over the phone after the president inspired him to do that. And that he loved his father and he was going to keep in touch with him.
You're making me all mushy. Well, when you come out to LA, you have to come in studio live and hang out with us. Talking to Broderick Johnson, chair for President Obama's My Brother's Keeper, this Sunday, 7 p.m. on any of the Discovery channels. It's Rise, the Promise of My Brother's Keeper documentary. Can we get a website for the organizations that are interested in being a part?
Sure. So if there's a White House website, it is www.whitehouse.gov and / My Brother's Keeper, or MBK. People can find out from that what cities are already involved. And again, there's well over 200.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love looking at you.
Angelique with the Espresso, brought to you by Embassy Suites and Homewood Suites by Hilton. Steph Curry is celebrating Father's Day with an NBA championship. After the big win, he honored his father, former Charlotte Hornet Del Curry.
He played 16 years in this league and was never able to enjoy this, but he can live through myself and the whole team because he's as much a part of this as we are.
And black women are wondering who's repping us on The View. Whoopi has been too rich for too long to relate to us. And Raven Simone, well.
Everybody has some type of African blood inside of them. And what makes a black person? Just your skin?
Don't forget, Dope is in theaters everywhere this weekend.
Malcolm lives in Inglewood, California, in the Darby-Dixon neighborhood referred to as the Bottoms. Malcolm's friends, Jib and Diggy, are also geeks.
You can count on Embassy Suites and Homewood Suites by Hilton to make your family reunion special. With spacious suites, free breakfast, and complimentary snacks, we've got your family covered. Visit HiltonFamilyReunions.com today. That's the Espresso.
This is Cafe Mocha. Radio from a woman's perspective.
It's Cafe Mocha, DJ MC Light on the ones and twos, giving you a little bit of flavor. I've been rehearsing and things. So I want to show off a little bit. It's 3 distinct flavors, 1 experience. Cafe Mocha is up in your building. I want you to keep it locked right here while I take you on a journey. It's the Light Mix. Hold on to your seat.
This is Kenny Lattimore, and that was the MC Light Mix.
You're in the studio dancing. Oh, by the way, this whole thing is caught on camera, so you can see my shiny forehead and
see me sweating a little bit here.
Kenny Lattimore sweating, sitting in
me oogling at Kenny. So if you want to see it, it's online.
CafeMochaRadio.com. Kenny, thanks so much for spending
Thank you for having me. This has been fantastic.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes.
We love you, Cafe Mocha.
This is how we do it, like nobody.
Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Westwood One. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. Writer and producer Angelique Parrott. For comments, booking, and more information, visit CafeMochaRadio.com.